Oh,
Oh, there we go.
yeah.
Well, so you lured her away from the food.
Yeah.
Oh, good. What is your wife cooking?
Cookies.
Cookies. Oh, look at her. She's like, cookies. So sad. You're back for more punishment.
Yeah.
How did you enjoy last year?
I really liked it. Yeah, it's hard to describe in just a few words, but I remember talking to you last year about feeling pretty underprepared and training wise, and I couldn't be happier with how my race went last year, especially for being a rookie to most of the stages. I had raced at Alpine and Driggs before when I ran the 8 dog. But yeah, I really liked it. And, a lot of that was having good help. I had a really good crew with me last year. That helps a ton. And I thought my dogs handled it really well. So I want to go do it again.
Well, yeah, it looked good. Same thing when we talked, and you told me, how much hassle you have to go through with training and tracking and how small of a crew you were training. I was like, oh, I wonder how he's going to be doing. Yeah. And every day I was like, dang, he's doing good. So, yeah, pretty consistently, I think the last 3 or 4 days, you were pretty consistently top 10, 9th place and held your ground,
Yeah, thanks. We had some hiccups in there in the middle, and so especially in some of the longer stages. And, like anybody in a 7-day race, it's hard to have a perfect run every day.
Well, she hates being on the couch, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you changing anything from last year, or do you say the way you trained worked out good and it was just a matter of getting to know the stages?
I can't say I haven't made any big changes this year to how I've prepared. I'm coming to the race with all the same dogs that I raced with last year. So
it was all mainly one big litter, wasn't it?
Yeah, 10 of the dogs on my team last year were all one litter. Actually, Flo, who was here on the couch with me a minute ago, is the mom of that litter. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So last year it was 10 out of 11 dogs in that litter were all on my team. And then Dad, a dog named Wyatt from Bud and Terry Streeper, was on the team as well. And then some other really nice dogs from Bud and Terry made up the rest of my team. So
you're concentrating on a small group again?
Yeah, that's, you say small group, I feel like it's a big group of dogs for me. This is I started out the season training 17.
Yeah.
And that's, I have to do all my training in one team. I can't really, since I truck for everything, there's not a lot of time to be training multiple teams and then get back and do my job, my real job to pay for all this madness. So about 18 is as many as I like to train in one team.
But that's pretty impressive to keeping them healthy throughout the whole training season. As we all know, stuff can go wrong pretty quick in one run.
Yeah, it's hard. And that, sometimes, I guess over the years I've learned, I think we talked about this last year too, sometimes it's just learning when it's better not to run. So you don't put your team in a position where things can go wrong.
So how were your snow conditions, towards the fall? And then are you having snow muck day on like so many other people now too?
Oh, we've had, in some ways I'll say it's been a crazy winter, but it really hasn't. If I'm honest with myself, we have weird stuff all the time. So we start out with no snow, but that's always common. I'm usually on dirt on the ATV into mid-December. And that was true again this year. I have 7 or 8 runs on a sled now, which is pretty good for me this time of year. But this last week or so, we've just gotten so much snow. Up on Mount Hood and Mount Adams, where I usually train, they got 5 or 6 feet of new snow just between Monday and Thursday this last week. In fact, I was out doing a run yesterday on Mount Hood after the storm cleared, and it was only because the volunteer snowmobile club, who does all the grooming on Mount Hood, had a guy go out and clear, groom about 40 miles of trail. And in that 40 miles, he had to clear 273 trees off the trail that were all weighed down from this most recent storm. So
holy crap, that's a lot.
That's kind of, And I'd say that's an atypical year. I could say but it's not. I mean, it's the Cascade Mountains, and something like this happens every year. Sometimes it's a lot of snow. Last year, it was actually a big Pineapple Express. We had only about 1 or 2 feet of snow in the mountains where I train. And then this very time last year, a big Pineapple Express came through and dumped 6 or 7 inches of rain in a couple of days and wiped all the snow away.
Yeah, I remember you were leaving earlier than you had planned to West Yellowstone.
Yeah, and I'll do the same this year. I'll be on the road in 5 or 6 days, headed towards West Yellowstone to go finish my training there.
Well, that's quite the logistical challenge too, with dog food and everything. I mean, if you're away from home for such a long time, you know, are you packing it all, or will you resupply along the way, or how do you?
No, I'll pack it all. Yeah, I have a 16-foot trailer I tow behind me that's set up for dogs and for gear, and you know, and again, I'm only traveling with 14 to 16 dogs, so it's not quite the size outfit that some people have. But I can. So I set up for an Alaska trip 2 years ago. We were gone for 2 months, and I was able to carry everything I needed.
Oh, nice. Okay. So, what's your plan when you go to West Yellowstone, training-wise? Are you upping your mileage from what you have done, or why do you go out there?
Well, I will be doing my longest training runs out there, just like I did last year. You know, I always feel like I'm behind on training, but if I compare my training log to last year, I'm exactly where I was this time last year. So, you know, as far as the length runs we're doing and how many miles we have on the team. But I'll be doing my longest runs out there, same as I did last year. And mostly I like West Yellowstone because we can acclimate. I can get the dogs used to being on the truck again. Not that they're not on the truck all the time, but they don't live on the truck here. I mean, we drive to all our training runs, but by the time we get to the race, you know, they'll have been on the truck for 2 weeks. So I'll be into the routine. They'll be into the routine. They'll be acclimated to altitude. And then I also like the trails in West Yellowstone because they're flat. I don't have anything flat here. I mean, my typical training run is got about the same amount of climbing as typical stage stop run does. I'm in the mountains, and it makes it, that combined with the very variable snow conditions and trail conditions we get here, makes it really hard for me to sort of teach any kind of pace, any kind of basic pace with the dogs, because every run's just so different. So I like to be able to go to West Yellowstone and get on a flat trail and at altitude in some good temperatures, and just start to, you know, put the dogs at a pace I expect to go in the race, and just let them cruise. And
did you see Lena and Bud out there last year, or did you train on different trails?
No, we were on the same trail. Yeah, we did. In fact, I saw their teams on the trail most days I trained.
Yeah. Oh, nice. So I think Hans Gatt is going to do the same thing coming down from the Yukon.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, from what I understand, he's coming down early too, and he's hopefully bringing my winter clothes.
Yeah, I mean, I've been racing and training in West Yellowstone for 10 years. Just about every winter I go there. There's usually at least one race there every year. There'll be a race the weekend before stage stop in West Yellowstone.
Isn't Dave Torgerson putting that on?
Dave is putting that on, yeah, and I've got my dogs entered in that race, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, cool. Well, who would you like to thank? Any sponsors other than your wife?
Sponsors. Well, no, definitely my wife and my kids, and not just for helping me with everything that has to happen to be ready, but tolerating me being gone for so long to go on these big race trips.
Who's coming with you?
I'll have Joey Thompson and his wife Liz and their oldest son as my handling crew this year.
Oh, nice. So you have quite a crew coming with you.
Yeah.
So they're coming to West Yellowstone too. They do the whole trip.
No, I'll rendezvous with them in Jackson.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
They'll be with me on the race. I'll be on my own in Jackson.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm looking forward to see you out there. I wish you safe travels. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, just thanks to the race for putting it on, and it's exciting now to see the you know, I just started noticing today online that the trail crew, Matt Redwine's been out putting in turnarounds and checking out trail conditions. And it's so nice to see that going on and to see updates on the trails that we're going to be racing on in a couple of weeks. Really
Yeah, it's always funny that this time of the year, you know, I do the same thing when I see all the posts popping up. It's like, oh, the big family is starting to move into the same direction. Yeah. And that's pretty neat to see, you know. Plus, yeah, I mean, having 30 teams signed up, if they all make it, that's a pretty large group of mushers coming this year.
It really is. And there's a lot of names. It's always an honor for me to be on, you know, listed with some of the names in some of these races, you know, just to be on the roster competing is pretty big deal for me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to being part of this year's race.